feedback from beta readers can be a game changer, but only if you set them up for success. A confused or unprepared beta reader won't give you the feedback you actually need, and once you get their notes back, you have to know how to analyze them without losing your mind. And I'm excited to share my must-ask beta reader questions later in this video. So today we're talking about how to prepare beta readers before they start, how to make sense of their feedback, and how to use it without losing your vision. So let's get into part 3 of my beta reader series. How to prepare beta readers before they start. A well-prepared beta reader is a useful beta reader. Okay, so we've found your beta readers. Check out part 2 if you don't know where to find them. Now what? Step 1 is to set clear expectations. Before your beta readers start, make sure they know exactly what you're looking for. Here's what to clarify. What kind of feedback do you need? Are you looking for big picture feedback on plot, pacing, and character arcs, or do you want chapter by chapter impressions? If you don't tell them, they might focus on things that aren't helpful at this stage. When do you need their feedback by? Give them a clear but realistic deadline, like I'd love your feedback in 4 weeks. How should they give feedback? Not everyone is comfortable giving notes the same way. Let them know if you prefer Google Docs, which is comments for inline reactions, a feedback form with structured questions, an email or Word document with general thoughts. The clearer you are, the more useful their feedback will be, and the more organized it'll be for you. Provide a list of specific questions as well. If you ask vague questions, you'll get vague answers. Instead of asking, "Did you like it?" which only tells you if they enjoyed the book overall, ask targeted questions that highlight specific areas for improvement. Before sending your book to beta readers, make a list of what you're most worried about. What do you think the weak spots are? What would an agent or editor flag as a problem? Use these concerns to help shape your beta reader questions. Asking open-ended but specific questions encourages deeper responses and gives you actionable feedback as well. In addition to specific questions you might have about your plot and characters, here are some of my favorite questions to ask. When did you stop reading? If a beta reader puts down the book and doesn't feel excited to pick it up again, that's a huge sign that something's off with pacing or engagement. Were there any moments where you felt completely hooked? This question helps identify the strongest parts of your book so you know which scenes are most engaging and can replicate that energy elsewhere, and know that you don't want to mess with the editing much in those scenes. Did you feel the ending was satisfying? A strong ending is crucial for reader satisfaction and word of mouth recommendations, so knowing if it feels rushed, unresolved, or just right is invaluable. If you were to recommend this book to a friend, what would you say? This tells you 2 things. 1, how they perceive the story, which may not be how you intended it, and 2, who they think the audience is, which can help with marketing. Did you relate to the protagonist? If readers didn't connect with your main character, that's a big red flag. Ask, did you root for them? Did you trust them? Did their actions make sense? Which character was your favorite and why? Understanding which characters resonate most can help with character development and marketing, as fan favorite characters often drive reader engagement. Were there any characters you struggled to connect with? If readers feel distant from a character, it could indicate a lack of depth, relatability, or consistency, which you can address with revisions. For fantasy and sci-fi especially, some world-building questions would be great, like, did the world building feel clear and immersive? This question ensures your setting is real and vivid and believable, which is especially important in certain world-building genres. Were there any world-building elements that confused you? Confusion about the setting, rules, or culture, or your world could mean that you need to clarify details, refine exposition, or smooth out some inconsistencies. At what point did you figure out what was going to happen? If you're writing a book with tension, mystery, or a twist, this helps gauge if your reveal lands at the right time. Was the historical, technical, or scientific information solid? If your book involves real-world accuracy like medicine, law, science, or history, this question can help catch errors during this process. Okay, so that was my list of the solid questions to ask your beta readers. Next, I want to talk about letting them experience the book fresh. Resist the urge to over-explain your story before they read it. If you give them a long introduction about your themes and character, motivations, or plot twists, they'll read with those in mind rather than forming their own genuine reactions. So let them experience the book as a future reader would. This is the best way to see whether your themes come across naturally, if your foreshadowing works, if any moments are actually confusing or if you just think they are. Your beta readers shouldn't need an explanation to understand your story. And if you do, there's a sign that there's some other stuff that needs tweaking before you even go to beta readers. Next, let's talk about tools for getting your book safely to beta readers. You want an easy way to share your book and receive feedback. So I'll go through a couple of great options. One is Google Docs. It's simple, free, and lets readers leave real-time comments. Plus, you can track who's actually reading the book. Another option to consider is Beta Books. It's a website designed for beta reading where you can upload chapters, track progress, and collect structured feedback. I believe this costs some money, but I've been on the beta reader side of this, and it's so nice for readers. And it's a great way to make sure that their feedback is organized as well. Other options include emailing PDFs, using Scrivener's sharing tools, or creating a private web page. The key is finding a system that makes giving feedback easy and works for you. Great. We found our beta readers, we gave them some structure, and we know how to give their book to them. Now, what happens when you get the feedback back? Not all feedback is created equal. Here's how to sort through it. First, look for trends. If multiple beta readers flag the same issue, it's probably a real problem. One person might say, this chapter dragged, and you could ignore it. But if 4 people say the same thing, it's time to revisit that chapter. Make sure to separate personal preference from real issue. Some feedback will be subjective. If a reader says, I don't like books written in first person, then that's their preference and not necessarily something that you would need to change. What to do when feedback conflicts? One beta reader says they love your protagonists. Another says they hate them. What do you do? In this case, go back to your story goals. Who is this character meant to be? Try to parse if this issue is execution, like is the character inconsistent or unclear? And if it's truly subjective, trust your instincts. The goal isn't to make every beta reader happy, it's to make your book stronger. How to apply the feedback without losing your vision. Once you've analyzed feedback, it's time to revise without overcorrecting. Make strategic changes, so don't blindly change things just because one person didn't like it. Focus on patterns in the feedback. Know when to trust your instincts. Not every suggestion will be right for your book. If a change conflicts with your vision, ask, will this make my story stronger? Does it align with my voice and themes? Is this fixing a real issue or just a matter of taste? Balance feedback with your writing style. If readers suggest small tweaks that improve clarity or pacing, great. But if they want to rewrite your story into something else, hold your ground. At the end of the day, this is your book. Use feedback to make it better, not to make it someone else's book. And finally, how to think and maintain good beta reader relationships. A great beta reader is gold, so if you find one, keep them around. And here's how you can do that. First of all, show appreciation. Even if your feedback was tough, thank them. A simple email, social media shout out, or a signed copy of your book goes a long way. Also, consider following up with updates. If you made changes based on their feedback, let them know. Beta readers love seeing how their input helps shape the final book. Keep them for future projects as well. If a beta reader was reliable, honest, and helpful, invite them back for your next book. Beta readers can completely transform a book if you know how to use their feedback wisely. So that concludes my beta reader series. I hope you found this helpful. You may also be interested in my video on how to revise your first draft, so check it out here. Thank you for watching and happy writing.